Why do most people fail in life? Not because they are not intelligent, not because they lack opportunities, and not even because they lack talent. Most people fail for a much deeper reason. They never learn to control the one thing that influences everything in their lives, their own mind. Because if you cannot control your thoughts, you will struggle to control your actions. And if you cannot control your actions, your future will always feel uncertain. This is why self-mastery is one of the most powerful skills a human being can develop, and also why most people never achieve it. The silent battle inside your mind. Every single day there is a battle happening inside your mind. It is silent. No one else can hear it, but it influences nearly every decision you make. One voice tells you to grow. It pushes you to wake up early. It reminds you of your goals. It encourages you to become stronger than you were yesterday. But there is another voice, a quieter voice, a voice that feels comfortable. It says, "Stay where you are. You've done enough. You can start tomorrow." At first, these thoughts seem harmless. But the voice that wins that internal argument slowly shapes your life. If comfort wins most of the time, your life moves toward comfort. If discipline wins most of the time, your life moves toward growth. And the difference between those two directions is enormous. Why most people fail. Failure rarely happens suddenly. It happens slowly, almost invisibly. It begins with small decisions, decisions that seem insignificant in the moment. You decide to delay a task. You tell yourself you'll start tomorrow. You scroll through your phone instead of working on your goals. None of these actions feel dramatic, but over time they accumulate. Days become weeks, weeks become months. Months become years. And suddenly people realize they are living a life that feels far below their potential. This is why failure is often misunderstood. People think failure comes from one big mistake. But in reality, failure is usually the result of hundreds of small decisions that slowly move you away from your goals. Your brain has one primary objective: survival. It is designed to protect you from danger, to conserve energy, to avoid unnecessary risks. In ancient times, this helped humans survive. But in modern life, this survival instinct can work against you, because the same brain that tries to protect you from danger also tries to protect you from discomfort, and growth requires discomfort. Learning a new skill feels uncomfortable. Starting a business feels uncomfortable. Pushing yourself physically feels uncomfortable. Facing rejection feels uncomfortable. But these uncomfortable experiences are exactly what lead to growth. When you avoid discomfort, you also avoid progress. And that is why comfort can become one of the most dangerous traps in life. Comfort feels good in the moment, but over time it slowly erodes your ambition. Every person who eventually develops mental strength experiences a turning point, a moment when they realize something powerful. No one is coming to rescue them. No perfect opportunity is guaranteed. No magical burst of motivation will suddenly transform their life. And when that realization happens, something changes. They stop waiting. They stop blaming external circumstances. They stop expecting life to become easier. Instead, they begin focusing on becoming stronger. They understand that the real transformation begins within, and that moment marks the beginning of self-mastery. In today's world, talent is often celebrated. Intelligence is admired. Natural ability is praised. But talent without discipline rarely leads to success. Discipline is the bridge between dreams and reality. Discipline means doing the work when it is inconvenient. It means continuing even when progress feels slow. It means showing up on the days when motivation disappears. Because motivation is temporary. Some days you feel inspired, some days you feel exhausted. If you rely only on motivation, your progress will always be inconsistent. But discipline is different. Discipline does not depend on emotions. It depends on commitment. It is the quiet decision to keep moving forward, regardless of how you feel. And over time, discipline becomes incredibly powerful. because small, consistent actions eventually create massive results. Another reason many people struggle to succeed is emotional instability. They allow temporary emotions to control long-term decisions. When they feel discouraged, they quit. When they feel afraid, they avoid challenges. When they feel frustrated, they give up. But emotions are temporary. They come and go like waves. Self-mastery means learning how to observe your emotions without allowing them to control your actions. It means creating space between feeling something and reacting to it. Instead of reacting impulsively, you pause, you think, you respond intentionally. This skill alone can dramatically change the direction of your life, because the ability to stay calm during chaos is a powerful advantage. While others panic, you think clearly. While others give up, you adapt. While others react emotionally, you act strategically. And over time, this difference becomes enormous. Your life is not defined by a few major decisions. It is defined by thousands of small habits. Habits shape how you spend your time. They shape how you think. They shape how you respond to challenges. If you wake up early every day, your life begins to reflect discipline. If you spend hours scrolling through social media, your life reflects distraction. At first, habits seem small, but over time they compound. Just like small financial investments grow through interest, habits grow through repetition. A small positive habit repeated daily becomes a powerful force, and a small negative habit repeated daily can slowly destroy potential. This is why self-mastery is largely about habit control. When you control your habits, you control the direction of your life. Many people focus only on goals. They say things like, I want to get fit, I want to become successful, I want to build confidence. But goals alone rarely create lasting change, because goals focus on results. Identity focuses on behavior. When you see yourself as someone who lacks discipline, you struggle to act disciplined. But when you begin to see yourself as someone who keeps promises, someone who grows every day, someone who shows up even when things are difficult, your behavior begins to change. Identity is powerful because it shapes your actions automatically. Instead of forcing yourself to behave differently, you simply act in alignment with who you believe you are. And self-mastery ultimately means becoming the type of person who naturally makes strong decisions. We live in a world full of distractions. Your attention is constantly under attack. Notifications appear every few minutes. Social media platforms compete for your focus. Endless entertainment is available at any moment. But attention is one of the most valuable resources you have, because where your attention goes, your energy follows. And where your energy goes, progress happens. If your attention is scattered across dozens of distractions, meaningful progress becomes difficult. But when you learn to focus deeply on one goal, your progress accelerates. This is why many successful individuals protect their attention carefully. They limit distractions. They choose their priorities intentionally. They understand that focus is not just about productivity. It is about directing your life toward what truly matters. One of the biggest reasons people give up is impatience. They expect results quickly. They start a new habit and expect dramatic change within weeks. They begin learning a new skill and become discouraged when progress feels slow. But real transformation takes time. Strength takes time. Skill takes time. Confidence takes time. The people who eventually succeed are not always the most talented, but they are often the most patient. They understand that progress is not always visible immediately. They trust the process. They keep showing up long after others have quit. And over time, that consistency becomes their greatest advantage. Self-mastery is not about perfection. It is about control. Control over your thoughts, control over your actions, control over your reactions. When you master yourself, external circumstances lose much of their power over you. Challenges still appear. Obstacles still exist. But you no longer feel powerless in the face of them. Instead of reacting impulsively, you respond strategically. Instead of blaming the world, you focus on solutions. Instead of waiting for opportunities, you create them. And this is where true freedom begins. Freedom from procrastination. Freedom from fear controlling your choices. Freedom from living a life driven by impulse rather than intention. When you master yourself, you gain the ability to shape your future. Take a moment and think honestly about your life, not where you want to be, but where you are right now. What habits are shaping your days? What thoughts dominate your mind? What decisions are you making repeatedly? Because those patterns are quietly creating your future. The good news is that change is always possible. No matter where you start, no matter how many mistakes you've made, self-mastery is a skill, and like any skill, it can be developed. One decision at a time, one habit at a time, one day at a time. Most people spend their lives trying to control external circumstances. They try to control other people, they try to control events, they try to control outcomes. But the greatest power you will ever possess is the power to control yourself. Because when you master your thoughts, you master your actions. When you master your actions, you master your habits. And when you master your habits, you master your life. If this message resonated with you, take a moment right now and ask yourself one question. What is the one habit you need to master next? Because the journey towards self-mastery begins with a single decision, the decision to take responsibility for your life. If you want to continue strengthening your mindset and building the discipline required for success, subscribe to Mindset Bloom. Because this channel is for people who refuse to settle for average. Your future self is watching. Make them proud.